starting out on, I've just started out on technical writing and it's been fun. So I'm looking forward to learn more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, Dennis. We are glad to have you here. Elizabeth, you can go next.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Andiko. I am a data analyst with, I work with Predictive Analytics Lab. So we do trainings for data science, do software, and everything else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thanks.
I think we'll go to Stanislaus.
Hi guys, my name is Stanislaus Mongela. I work at Jacaranda Health. I'm a machine learning professional. Mostly my work entails training natural language processing models. Excited to be here.
Welcome, Stanislaus. I'm glad to hear Jacaranda Health is here. So it's one of the startups we featured under our business interviews on how they were using natural language processing to triage emergency messages for patients. So in case anyone has not watched that, just go to the AI Kenya YouTube page and you'll be able to see that. Yeah. And then we have Kumar. Hi, Kumar, how are you? We are just doing a quick round of introductions as we wait to hit a quarter.
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, so I'm working as a technical writer for an AI company. So I just wanted to, explore what's going on here in the space. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Where are you joining from? Are you in Kenya?
I'm from UAE.
UAE, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Welcome to today's event. I think I will go next to, let's see, quite many. Mr. K. Ndambuki, you can just quickly introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kelvin. I'm happy to be here, happy to join the session, and I hope to learn a lot from our speaker today, Derrick. Thank you for having me.
Okay, where are you joining us from?
A company or current place?
Just company, location, either, but mostly important location, yeah.
Okay, I'm joining from Kenya, Nairobi. Company Jacaranda Health.
Okay, so we have lots of Jacaranda Health in the house today. That's good. Next we have Mr. Ochibobo. Hi, sir. It's good to see you again. Please just introduce yourself and where you're joining us from today, if you're able to. Okay, I think Mr. Ochibobo is not able to. I think I'll go to Christabel. Hi, Christabel, how are you? We're just doing a quick round of introductions. Tell us where you're joining us from and maybe your organization.
Oh, hi, everyone. My name is Christabel. My organization, Autosec Kenya, and I'm from Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay, thank you for that. So I think I'll start with a quick introduction. As people trickle in, I'll start introducing AI Kenya, and then we'll proceed to the speaker's presentation today. So welcome everyone. Today's event is called The Right Stuff, Mastering Technical Writing for Data Science, General Tech and Beyond. Our speaker is Derrick Mwiti, who is a machine learning professional and also an author for the book Writing for Data Scientists. So as we continue today's event, I urge everyone to be able to tweet and tag AI Kenya and also tag today's speaker. His handle is @Mwiti, and AI Kenya's handle is @AI Kenya1. The hashtags we're using for today is the right stuff, hashtag technical writing, hashtag AI Kenya. So during the event, if you're finding anything insightful that you'd like to highlight to your followers or general public, please do that using the hashtags and these particular handles. Yeah, so AI Kenya, for those of you, if it's your first time hearing about AI Kenya, we are a community that consists of practitioners and enthusiasts in artificial intelligence and related technologies. It was established as an ecosystem building initiative in October 2017. And the first program that we executed was coming up with a community, which is the AI Kenya community. And we mainly come together to engage, learn, grow, and stay informed on matters, artificial intelligence, and closely related topics. When we say AI and closely related technologies, we're talking about data analysis, data engineering, data science, robotics, data visualization, and machine learning. So these are some of the topics we cover through our different programs and events. And we also go to non-technical topics such as data privacy, data protection, and data rights. So we are a community for both techies and non-techies. We have lawyers, we have doctors, we have general researchers, we have data analysts, and so on. And we try and accommodate a wide spectrum of beginners, intermediates, and experts. So we mainly exist to democratize machine intelligence. This means we want to make it as accessible to everyone as possible. It's a journey we began 6 years ago, and we've been running different programs to achieve that. And we mainly see ourselves as an enabler and ecosystem builder, not only in the Kenyan tech industry, but the wider East African and African tech industry, and also global industry, because today we have people joining from UAE, USA, and other countries. So how we achieve this is by doing 4 main things. We make sure people are learning, we make sure people are growing, we make sure people are engaging each other, and we'll also make sure our members and the wider public are staying informed. In terms of learning, we have different technical and non-technical workshops and programs that we run. For example, Code Maktaba, which are technical coding workshops in person and also online. We have show and tells, where you have speakers and community members showcasing the AI projects they've worked on. We have Mawaidha sessions, which are like TED Talk from speakers who are tackling different topics that are either directly artificial intelligence or closely related to that. We also do hackathons, and we also have documentary screenings where we invite the wider public to come and watch technical screening and then discuss the topic. So here on the right, we have a picture of Furhat, which is one of the Furhat or Farhat, depending on how you pronounce it, which is one of the world's most advanced social robots. And we had this event, I think, in 2019 at Pine Tree Plaza. So we also want to ensure our members are growing. So we create a created list of opportunities from internships, job opportunities, grants, and so on. And we post this on the AI Kenya website, which is www.kenya.ai. So even if you go right now, you'll find some new jobs that we have posted this week. And in terms of engaging, we have the AI Kenya website, we have a Slack group. We also have a WhatsApp group that is available on the AI Kenya Linktree. So just search AI Kenya Linktree, and then you will be able to see our Linktree link. And when you click on it, you'll have multiple options, whether you want to join Facebook, whether you want to join Meetup, whether you want to visit the website, and so on. And then in terms of staying informed, we interview different businesses, thought leaders in technology and AI, and we share this on our newsletter, on our YouTube page, and so on. So quickly moving to today's topic on technical writing. So we live in a gig economy where, most people either primarily have their main job, or other than their main job, they have another job that they're doing to just get some supplemental income. And writing is one of those jobs. And this is a field that you really need to get right if you really want to excel. So today we'll be sharing a bit more on, our speaker will be sharing more on how to get started and how to excel, what tools and frameworks you can use to aid you in this process, and how does generative AI affect this field. So generative AI has really sort of shot up. Interest for it has really shot up in the past 1 year. We are seeing so many platforms such as ChatGPT, such as BARD, and so on, that are allowing people to easily create different forms of creative outputs, whether it's text, whether it is images from platforms such as Midjourney, and so on. So how does this affect technical writing? Is it something that is going to take away that particular capability from more skilled people, or is it going to accelerate their work and allow them to be better at their craft? So as we engage in today's event, we are going to use slido.com to ask any questions you might have for the speaker. We can also use the chat section of Zoom, but we'll encourage our audience today to mainly use slido.com. So you can navigate to slido.com, or you can scan this QR code here on the screen, and it will take you to a page where you are able to ask questions and then also participate in the different polls that we have. And then you should also be able to post vote questions and participate in the poll. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and ask everyone to just quickly participate in this particular poll. We just want to have a feel of how everyone is feeling today, even as we start the event. So allow me to just share this. So we have different polls. The first polls that we'd want everyone to just briefly participate in is around how you're feeling today. What is your energy? What is your energy level from a rating of 1 to 5? How are you feeling today? So I'll give us about 30 seconds to just fill that in and let us know how you're feeling today. I think already one person has given us their rating. So I'm seeing a bit of 3, a bit of 5. You can also let us know what is influencing this particular rating of how you feel today. So we understand it's past work hours. Maybe you've just finished your work, but you're still able to join this. So you're very grateful for that. So thank you for the ones who have filled that in. In case you haven't, you'll still be able to participate in that particular poll. So I'll now just go back and allow our speaker today to take over and take us through his amazing talk on technical writing. So Derrick, welcome. Derrick, are you there? Just confirm. Just a minute.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So we'll get right into the content. So let me share my screen. So I wanted to start with some numbers, some general numbers before we get to the technical writing stuff. And there are over 600 million active blogs in the world. So just keep these numbers in mind as we move along. And according these numbers are from HubSpot, and according to them, 53% of Fortune 500 companies have a blog, and 90% of these companies blog. Also, according to these numbers, blogging leads to 67% more leads. As we keep those numbers in mind, let's come to my personal statistics. So I have written over 300 articles. This is from around 2017, 2018. And this is how it started. I was learning data science and machine learning. And as I was doing so, I started writing on medium.com, not on any specific publication, but just on medium.com. Then over time, I got a chance to submit my work towards data science. So for those of you who are not saying data science and machine learning, towards data science is one of the largest data science publications on the internet. And as you can see from this screenshot, someone contacted me after seeing some of those blogs, and they wanted me to write for them. And then they mentioned that I was actually going to be paid for this, as you can see here. And so when I started writing, I actually didn't think about getting paid for this. I was just sort of writing to just share the content. But then someone contacted me on LinkedIn, and they were like, we can pay you to write for a blog. And you can see the amount here was 300 USD for one article. So you might be wondering what this technical writing is all about. So it's all about creating content for educating developers. So the goal is to show developers how to use a specific product through blogs, guides, and tutorials. Why should you consider writing as a developer? Number one, when you write, you understand that thing that you're writing about better, because writing forces you to delve deeper into the thing. So it's quite difficult to explain something if you don't understand it yourself. So by putting yourself out there and writing the content, you end up understanding it even better. You even create a resource for yourself that you can use as a reference in the future. Secondly, you build a personal brand. So if you started writing about machine learning and sharing this on, for example, Medium, over time, people will start identifying you with this topic that you're writing about. So your content becomes like a silent resume for you. Secondly, when you keep writing, you also improve on your writing skills. And the way this happens is that as you submit your work to publications, for example, even towards data science, they like give you feedback on your writing, and you can improve from that feedback. Secondly, when you write these publications, for example, if you submit your work towards data science, they'll actually post this work for you on their social networks and through their newsletter. So it's a chance for you to build a personal brand by being seen across the viewers of all these publications. Writing also makes you a part of the community of the topic you're writing about. So when you start writing about, for example, data science and machine learning, or is it web development, there is a community of people interested in that particular topic who will start following you online. And by sharing this content, it also becomes easy for those people to help you. So if you are sharing content on a certain topic for a certain community, when you need help from the community, it becomes easier for you even to get assistance from the community, because they can already see that you're someone who is already giving back to that community. And I think the most important thing is that when you write, you help other people get started. So whichever topic you want to write about, there is someone else out there who is just starting out. And by creating this content, you make it easier for that person to get started. Just like when you are learning any topic, you most likely went to google.com and searched for a certain concept, and you saw an article from someone and you read it. So even even yourself, you can create this content to help other people who are just getting started in any technical field. So what are the opportunities that exist from writing? So one, you may want to get paid to write. And I can tell you that there are so many, like from what we saw from the numbers, that most of the companies in the world are creating content. So there is opportunity for you. So for example, you can see this blog post I wrote, and I can see I was paid $500 for that. So there is an opportunity for you to make money from writing. Like you can be paid on every article that you write. But then even if you don't want to get paid to write, creating this content will help you to get other jobs. So for example, if you write about data science, it becomes easy for you to get jobs in data science, because the person, say the recruiter, will see this content, and you've already proven that you know something about that particular topic. Again, you also get opportunities to speak. You get appearances on, for example, on podcasts. And then there are also other programs that you can leverage out there. For example, the GDE, the Google Developer Experts. So for example, I'm part of the Google Developer Experts in machine learning. And the reason why I was able to join this program is because of the content that I had been writing on data science and machine learning and using TensorFlow. And this is a global community which you can join and get a chance to network with other experts from across the world. So if you're convinced that you should write, then maybe you would be wondering, what should I write about? So there are so many ideas here. So for example, if you work on a project, you can document that project. Say you work on an image classification project, or you work on a web development project, you can write a blog about that project. If you attend an event, for example, attend an event like today, you can write about what you learned from that event. Maybe you attend a workshop on a particular technical topic, you can create a blog on that. You can also look at other blogs to get some inspiration from them. Then if you are interested in writing about topics that are trending in your industry, a good place to check is Reddit and Hacker News. So on Reddit, you will see the topics that are like trending, and that can give you an idea of what to write about. If you also check the Hacker News front page, that will also give you a very good idea of what you can write about that people are interested in. If you are reading a certain book, for example, on a technical book, you can create a project from what you learned and write about it. So when you're writing, there are certain things you need to look out for. So let's mention some of those things. So number one, you need to make it easy for people to read your work. And the way you do that is by making sure that you don't have typos and grammar issues. So that is something that you can do very easily with some free tools. Then when you are writing, you should always try to write your content in just plain English, not to use so much difficult vocabulary such that it's difficult for people to understand your content. Then For example, you are writing an article on data science and there is some data set that you spoke about in your article, then you should provide these assets to your reader so that they can be able to reproduce your work. If it's images, anything that the person needs to complete to complete the task in your article, then you should provide those assets for them so that it's just easy for them. Then as much as possible, you should try to use images to explain content. For example, you can use GIFs to explain certain concepts. It's easier for people to understand from images, and it's also a good thing even for search engine optimization. Then make the content skimmable. I don't know how many of you, for example, when you go to read something and it's all like it's one long piece of content, it becomes very difficult to read it. So you should always use headings, use short paragraphs, make the content as skimmable as possible, because when someone opens your blog, they will not read the blog from start to finish. They will first skim through the content, they look at it, and if it's interesting to them, then they'll start reading. But if it's one huge block of content, then someone will just bounce off and go to look for something else. Then when you're writing, you should write for a specific developer. You should be very keen not to try to write for everyone. Like if you are writing for someone who is intermediate, then you can skip the basic things. If you're writing for a beginner, then you need to make sure that you go through all those beginner concepts and not skip them. So it's good to have in mind the sort of developer you are writing for, so that to make sure that the person who comes is able to go through your content. You can do this by providing, if the content is intermediate, then you can provide some prerequisites, maybe share links to the content, beginner content, if they're not familiar with specific topics. Then where should you write? So there are various platforms on the internet where you can start writing. An easy one is to use medium.com. Just go to medium.com, open an account, and start writing, and it's free. When you're just starting, it's not a good idea to create your own personal blog, because you're now introducing more friction. Because when you, for example, create a WordPress blog, that's something now you need to go and manage. Another thing is that you need to write where the readers are. So when you start your blog, there is no one to read your content. But if you write on medium.com, there are already millions of people who can consume your content. Your content can be recommended by the Medium newsletter. So when you're starting, you should always use a platform where the readers are. On medium.com, also there are some publications in tech. So for example, there is Geek Culture, there is Towards Data Science. You should try to submit your work to those publications, because those publications, they have a very huge audience, which gives you readers for your content, which will make it more popular. Away from medium.com, there are other well-known websites like KDnuggets. I have a lot of content I have written on KDnuggets and Towards the Science. And since these publications are well-known, they sort of, when someone sees your content on those platforms, like they're more likely to trust you, like they're more likely to see you as a domain expert in that field. There's also Hashnode, there is Dev2, there's Free Code Camp, and there is Analytics Vidya. So look into those platforms, but definitely don't bother starting with a blog post, with your personal blog, if you're just starting. Then apart from posting on well-known publications such as KDnuggets, which will promote your work, there are other ways that you can also promote your work. And one of them is through using search engines. for example, Google. And the way you make sure that your content ranks on Google is, number one, you want to make sure that your content is well formatted. It does not, there are no typos, like your content is just easy to read. You also need to make sure that you have not copied other people's work, because that will be marked as duplicate content. So make sure you format your work properly. You use images, you use headings to make sure that your content can rank on search engines. The problem with search engines is that your content will take some time to rank. Like, it's not easy to write a blog today and tomorrow you are on page 1 of Google, unless you have you're writing on a domain that has a very high authority. So it's unlikely. So in that case, you should also use social sharing. This is, for example, you appear on podcasts, and if you are talking, you're giving a presentation on a certain topic, they can link it on their podcast notes. Then you already mentioned about publishing your content on well-known publications which will promote your work. Then you should also share your content on Twitter, on LinkedIn. There is also LinkedIn groups. You should share your content there. On LinkedIn, you should look for specific groups which are relevant to your topic. For example, if you're writing on Python, there is a Python group on LinkedIn which has over 1 million people. So you should make sure you're just sharing on the relevant LinkedIn groups. And then there are also Discord servers and Slack communities which you can share your content to. So if you're part of these Discord servers and Slack communities, and the community allows you to do that, then you should definitely share. If you want to create content for companies, it helps to understand why these companies are looking for content. If you understand why these companies are looking for content, it will be easier for you to align with their goals. Number one, the reason why these companies are looking for content is to create awareness on their products. So, for example, they've created this tool and they need developers to know about it. So they create content around that. There's also educating developers how to use a product. So if they've created a specific technical product, then when developers come to use it, they want to make it easy for developers to use their product. This is where they create their tutorials, the blog posts. The other thing is they want to build a community around the product. And the advantage of building a community around a product is that it becomes easy to monetize, because part of that community from that community, you get some leads, and those leads will lead to sales. So finally, let us talk about some tools which you can use for technical writing. So for example, I use Grammarly for checking grammar issues and typos. Then to create some GIFs, you can use something like TinyWow or EZGIF for that. Then Canva is a very easy tool to use to create feature images for your blog posts. If you need to edit some videos, you can use a free tool like DaVinci Resolve. Then for some simple designs, you can use Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. There's also GIMP, and it's free. Then for writing, you can either write on something like Google Docs, or you can write on medium.com directly. The advantage of using Google Docs is that your content, and medium.com is that your content is already saved there, so there's no need for you to move content around. Then if you're writing on Medium on Google Docs, then you can use a plugin like Code Blocks to format your code so that it is well highlighted. Then if at some point you decide to now start your own blog after some time, then you can use a CMS like Ghost or WordPress. So let's now talk about where you can get some writing opportunities or some opportunities as a result of writing. One of the easiest places is to start is Upwork, but it might be quite difficult when if you're just starting from scratch. So if you're just starting, it's always good to take some jobs which are not paying which are not paying a lot of money, but can help you to get some good ratings. Another thing on Upwork is that you need to submit a good proposal. Like, don't just copy paste the same proposal on several jobs. Like, take some time to create a good proposal, to create a good profile that shows your work, and then you can stand a chance to get some jobs there. Then on LinkedIn and Twitter, you can connect with potential employees or employers. For example, if you see a company you're interested in, then you can connect to people working in that company. And when you're connecting, you can always leave a note to make it easy for them to connect with you. And then if you have an idea for some articles, then you can propose that idea to the person and explain to them why you think that idea would help them in their business. Similarly, if you get the email address, you can send an email proposal saying that I've seen your tool. I think you could benefit from an article on 1, 2, 3. Like, if you send a compelling proposal and you show your previous work, it will be difficult not to get work after some time. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Should you bother writing if these new AI tools can do the writing for you? The likes of Bard, ChatGPT, and Cloud from Anthropic. The truth is that these tools are still quite early stage, and they are very good for creative work, but they're still not good for content that requires factual information, such as technical writing. So I don't see any risk that these tools will start creating technical content tomorrow. But if you want to use them, you can use them, but you need to be aware that some of the information that they're going to output is not correct. So you need to fact check everything from these tools, particularly if you're writing about a factual topic like technical writing. But you can use them actually for things like code generation. Of course, the code is not perfect, but if you understand the code, then you can be able to debug it and make it work. So it can also make your work easier, but it doesn't mean that it's going to replace what you're supposed to do. Yes, and that's it. Thank you. Back to you, Alfred.
Okay, thank you very much, Derrick, for that good presentation. Just to recap, I think everyone has learned a lot from this, and now we'd want to move into the question and answering session. But before we do that, Derrick, just allow me to share my screen. I'd like us to just quickly answer some poll questions that we had initially prepared for this session. So in the meantime, we can also use the comment section in Zoom. Other than that, we can also use slido.com to share the different topics that we are addressing at the moment. So if you can see my screen, we have a QR code that you can quickly scan using your phone and answer the question, or you can navigate to slido.com and then just put in the code right stuff AIK, and then you'll be able to see the active polls that we have at the moment. then you should also be able to post any questions that you have for this particular event. So the current question I'd want us to just answer at this particular moment is what topics you're currently addressing in technical writing. So whether you're writing on cybersecurity or you're writing on Android apps or website development, please let us know about that. So I see a few people are writing on data science, data analysis. We have website development. We have quantum machine learning. That's quite interesting. Some are saying none at the moment, and so on. The next question I would want us to answer is just a quick poll that we want to know if you are currently using any generative AI tools such as ChatGPT or BARD to aid in your technical writing journey. So I see we already have some answers, whether you are currently using it, whether you are aware about it, but you're not using it, or if you're not familiar with it and how you can use it in technical writing. So I'm also just going to give you a few minutes to answer this. So I'm seeing most of you are already using generative AI to aid in technical writing. And I hope as you're using it, it's giving you the right results and you don't need to do a lot of heavy work in correcting some of the mistakes that it might be making, because these tools are not 100% perfect. You need to know the exact thing that you're asking the tool to help you in, and then you need to be able to make that judgment whether whatever you're receiving is highly accurate, and then from there, if you can proceed to reproduce it or just correct it and then use it. So I think the people who are answering that, I'd now like to move to the Q&A. I'll start with Slido and then I'll move back to Zoom. So someone asked, what is a concept? If you're asked to write a concept, what is expected? So Derrick, I think you can start with that particular question. Derrick, are you there? Let me just unmute you quickly. Yeah, I've enabled you to unmute, so now you can unmute.
Yes. Sorry, what was the question again? I didn't understand.
So the question was, what is a concept? And if you're asked to write a concept, what is expected? I think they're trying to understand the how can I put it? The main, so when you're starting writing, of course, you have to start with a concept. So they just want to understand how you approach that element of understanding what a concept is and what is expected as you are writing about the concept, or let's say a topic, a technical topic in that case.
Yeah, without more details is difficult, but it depends. It depends on, is it a blog? Is it a user guide? Is it a tutorial? So generally, the person asking you to create the content will give you the guidelines, and that will guide you on what and how to write.
Okay. I'll move on to the chat section. How does one, so Dennis is asking, how does one remain consistent in writing? As a technical writer, how do you remain consistent?
Well, I think you just need to keep the goal in mind, like where are you writing? If you know the reason why you are writing, then I think you'll have a strong reason to be consistent. Like if you're writing to get some opportunities, then you keep writing because you know you are writing for a specific reason.
Okay. A question from my end would be, could you comment on the how the journey has been in terms of the payment you get on the different technical topics that you write on? So like from when you started up to now, so is it getting better or is it getting worse in terms of how much you are paid based on the different topics you're writing?
So what happens is that, okay, so over time you'll be paid more because some publications actually want to work with people who have more experience, but it also depends on the content you are writing about. So for simple tasks, so if something is not that complicated or complex, obviously it's not going to be a lot of money. But then there are the high ticket tasks which are more complicated, which require more time. But yes, over time, you earn more.
Okay, and could you share personally how are you currently using generative AI tools, maybe at different writing stages, if it applies anyway at the moment, or how you've seen other technical writers use generative AI?
I personally don't use them that much, but sometimes I would maybe paste some sentence there and ask it maybe to expand on it, or maybe generate some code, and then maybe I can go edit it and make it work. But overall, I don't use them a lot for technical stuff.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll want to know from the rest of the participants if you have any last pending questions. You can be able to raise your hand if you're on Zoom. If not, you can type in your questions in Slido. I'll just what I've already displayed on the screen. You can be able to type your question there. You can also request in the chat in case you want to speak and ask a question. So let me see. So currently, I think we've already answered different questions. Let me look at the rest. So someone is asking, there's so many discussions on Reddit. How do you know which ones are trending to write about? Again, I'll have to unmute you, Derrick. Okay, you can now unmute.
Sorry, I won't mute again.
Yeah, just unmute again. Yeah.
So you can't write about all of them. So what you need to do is look for something that you are either familiar with or something you're willing to take some time and learn, and just pick a topic and write. Like pick something you are interested in learning and then go write about it. The reason I'm saying pick something you're interested in is because you'll actually need to go and do your research.
Yeah. Okay. And so I also had this question. So someone is asking if they're required to be a data scientist to write their content needs or topic that are general writing, and which ties to the question of being a subject matter expert in whichever topic you're writing. So of course, there's an option of just doing desk research, collecting information from different sources and writing on that. And then there's the other aspect of where you are actually a subject matter expert and you're practicing whatever you are writing on a day-to-day. So what would be a comment on that?
I'd say forget about being an expert and just focus on writing what you're learning. Like if you're learning about this science, just start writing about it. Because even when I started writing, I was just learning the data science. So like you don't need to be the expert. You just need to write about what what you're currently learning, the projects you're currently working on, and those can lead you to opportunities. But if you wait for you to be the expert, then you might never start.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then the next question is if there's an issue of credibility in terms of how old you are in that particular field when you're writing. So let's say you've just started writing a few years ago, and as opposed to someone who has been writing for quite some years. So do you think that's a big factor when someone is starting to write, or when someone wants to pursue technical writing seriously?
Well, I don't think so, because my first job, which I was paid, my first article, which I was paid $300, was just after writing 3 blogs. So I was just starting. Like,
yeah,
I didn't have 10 years of experience. I had literally just written 3 articles before I got the first one. So I don't think it's an issue.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. I think the last question was whether one requires to be a data scientist to write. I think we've already addressed that. Thank you so much, Derrick, for your time today in sharing with us your expertise around technical writing. We appreciate you setting aside your time to come and share with us. The last 2 questions I think they've just popped out on Zoom is, how do you provide assets to readers? I don't know what that means, Kumar. So Kumar, I'll just unmute you so that you are able to expound on that in terms of assets. You can just try speaking now. I've unmuted you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, when you talking about rules, you said we have to provide asset to the readers, like visualization, the grammar, all those things you were talking about. So what do you mean by asset, and how do you provide that to reader? That I want to understand.
Yeah, so for assets, I was speaking about the things they need to accomplish what you're talking about in your article. So for example, you're talking about, let's say, building an image classification using this data set. So number one, you need to provide that data set, which you can do easily by uploading that data set on either GitHub or cargo.com. Then you can provide the notebook or the Python file, which you can use. Again, you can do that using GitHub or something like Cargo Notebooks or Google Colab. So it's just providing the things the reader needs to accomplish what you're talking about in your article. Is that clear?
I think he's unable to unmute. Yeah, Kumar, you can just confirm if that's clear for
Yes,
you.
yes, it's clear. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. So Derrick, you didn't talk much about the book you wrote. So Mary is asking how people can get your book using M-Pesa to pay. I think you had put it on Gumroad, but Gumroad does not have M-Pesa. So how can people easily get your book?
If they're interested, let them talk to you, then I can send it to you somehow.
Okay. You want us to share it publicly?
The what?
Or I think Mary wants to buy the book, but she's unable to check out using M-Pesa. So Mary, you can use an M-Pesa virtual card. But anyway, Derrick will share the book. Mary, you can reach out to us on Twitter, and then we'll organize how you'll get the book, if that works. Yes. Good. I believe that there are no more questions for now. I think we've already covered most of what we wanted to cover today. Thank you so much, Derrick. I invite anyone else who wants to apply or talk at an online event with us or at AI Kenya. You can visit our website, www.kenya.ai, and we have a section under the Engage tab. You can click on Mentor, and then you can be able to fill a form and let us know what topic you want to talk about, and then we'll be able to get you on board for this. Other than that, thank you everyone for attending. We recorded this particular talk, so we will repost it on our YouTube page. So thank you everyone for joining. Derrick, thank you so much. Wishing everyone a good evening.
Good evening.